Have you ever sat in a restaurant, menu in hand, heart racing just a little bit faster because you knew the waiter was approaching your table? That moment when you realize that ordering food isn't just about choosing what to eat, it's about navigating an entire conversation in English with all its subtle rhythms, polite expressions, and unspoken rules that native speakers seem to know by heart. Today, we're going to transform that nervous energy into confident communication. We're going to dive deep into the beautiful world of restaurant English, where every conversation is an opportunity to practice, learn, and connect with others through the universal language of food and hospitality. Think about it for a moment. Restaurants are like theaters, where English comes alive in its most practical, everyday form. Every table tells a story. Every order placed is a small victory in communication. Every thank you exchange between customer and server builds a bridge of understanding that goes far beyond just getting a meal on the table. When we talk about learning English through restaurant conversations, we're really talking about something much bigger than just memorizing phrases like, "I'll have the chicken," or "Can I get the check, please?" We're talking about developing what I like to call conversational confidence, that magical ability to feel comfortable in any English-speaking situation, starting with one of the most common scenarios we all face, ordering food. The beauty of restaurant English lies in its predictable structure, yet infinite variety. Just like a recipe has basic ingredients but can be prepared in countless ways, restaurant conversations follow certain patterns while allowing for personal expression, cultural exchange, and genuine human connection. When you master these conversations, you're not just learning to order food, you're learning to navigate politeness, express preferences, ask for clarification, and handle unexpected situations with grace and confidence. Let me paint you a picture. Imagine walking into a cozy Italian restaurant on a busy Friday evening. The warm lighting creates dancing shadows on the walls. The gentle hum of conversation fills the air, and the aroma of garlic and fresh herbs makes your mouth water. The hostess greets you with a smile, and suddenly you're not just a language learner anymore. You're a confident English speaker ready to engage in a delightful conversation that will end with a satisfying meal and a sense of accomplishment. This transformation doesn't happen overnight, but it begins with understanding that restaurant conversations are like learning to dance. At first, you might step on your partner's toes, miss a beat, or feel awkward about the rhythm. But with practice, patience, and the right guidance, you begin to move naturally, anticipating the next step, flowing with the music of conversation until it becomes second nature. The secret lies in recognizing the patterns. Restaurant conversations follow a beautiful, predictable flow: greeting, seating, menu browsing, ordering, meal service, and payment. Each phase has its own vocabulary, its own rhythm, and its own opportunities for connection. When you understand this flow, you can focus on expressing yourself naturally rather than worrying about what comes next. But here's what makes restaurant English truly special: it's forgiving. Unlike a job interview or a formal presentation, restaurant conversations are designed to be helpful. Servers want you to have a good experience. They're trained to be patient, to repeat information, to make recommendations, and to ensure you leave happy. This creates the perfect learning environment where mistakes are not only acceptable, but expected and easily corrected. Now let's explore something fascinating about restaurant vocabulary that many English learners don't realize. The language of dining is incredibly rich and varied, ranging from casual expressions you'd use at a fast food counter to sophisticated terminology you might encounter at a fine dining establishment. This diversity means that every restaurant visit is an opportunity to expand your vocabulary naturally and organically. Consider the difference between saying, "I want a burger," and "I'd like to try your signature burger, please." Both communicate the same basic desire, but the second version demonstrates cultural awareness, politeness, and linguistic sophistication that native speakers appreciate and respond to positively. It's not about being fancy. It's about showing respect for the social conventions that make communication smooth and pleasant. The magic happens when you begin to understand that restaurant English is deeply connected to cultural values like hospitality, patience, and mutual respect. When you say please and thank you, when you make eye contact and smile, when you show appreciation for recommendations and accommodate others at your table, you're not just speaking English, you're participating in a cultural exchange that transcends language barriers. This is where our teaching moment begins, and I want to share with you one of the most versatile and commonly used expressions in restaurant English. I'll go with. This simple phrase is absolutely essential for sounding natural and confident when ordering food, and it's used by native speakers constantly, often without them even realizing how frequently they rely on it. I'll go with is so much more than just another way to say I choose. It carries a sense of decision-making, consideration, and confidence that makes your English sound mature and natural. When a server asks, "What can I get you today?" responding with, "I'll go with the salmon," sounds infinitely more natural than, "I want the salmon," or "Give me the salmon." But the beauty of "I'll go with" extends far beyond its basic meaning. This expression demonstrates what linguists call pragmatic competence, the ability to use language appropriately in social contexts. When you use "I'll go with," you're showing that you've considered your options, made a thoughtful choice, and are communicating that choice in a way that sounds collaborative rather than demanding. Listen to how native speakers use this expression in different contexts. "I think I'll go with the special tonight." "Let me go with your recommendation." "I'll go with the house wine." Or, "We'll go with the family meal for 4. Notice how each usage conveys slightly different nuances: consideration, trust, confidence, and group decision-making. The phrasal verb "go with" also appears in related expressions that are incredibly useful in restaurants. You might hear, "This wine goes well with seafood," meaning it complements or pairs nicely with fish dishes. Or perhaps, "I think the chocolate cake would go with our celebration," meaning it would be appropriate or fitting for the occasion. Understanding these variations helps you recognize the phrase in different contexts and use it more flexibly in your own conversations. What makes "I'll go with" particularly powerful for English learners is its flexibility and frequency. You can use it for main courses, appetizers, beverages, desserts, and even non-food choices like seating preferences. "I'll go with the booth near the window," or "Let's go with the earlier reservation time." The applications are endless, and mastering this one expression will immediately make your restaurant English sound more sophisticated and natural. But learning the expression is just the beginning. The real magic happens when you start using it confidently in real situations. And that brings us to the practical application portion of our lesson. I want you to imagine that you're not just learning about restaurant English, you're preparing for an adventure, a delicious journey where every conversation is an opportunity to grow and connect. Here's a fun and practical exercise that you can do right from where you are sitting. I call it the Menu Imagination Challenge, and it's designed to help you practice using "I'll go with" and other restaurant expressions in a low-pressure, creative environment that builds your confidence for real-world situations. First, I want you to close your eyes for just a moment and imagine your ideal restaurant. Maybe it's a bustling pizzeria with checkered tablecloths and the sound of laughter filling the air. Perhaps it's an elegant French bistro with soft jazz playing in the background and candlelight flickering on every table. Or maybe it's a vibrant food truck festival where you can sample cuisines from around the world while standing under colorful umbrellas on a sunny afternoon. Got your restaurant in mind? Perfect. Now, open your eyes and let's create your dining experience. I want you to speak out loud. Yes, actually use your voice and practice having a restaurant conversation with an imaginary server. Don't worry about feeling silly. This kind of practice is incredibly effective because it engages multiple learning pathways in your brain simultaneously. Start with the greeting. Look up as if you're making eye contact with your server and say, "Good evening, table for two, please." Notice how your voice sounds when you speak with confidence and politeness. Feel the rhythm of the words and pay attention to your intonation, that natural rise and fall that makes English sound musical and engaging. Now imagine your server has seated you and brought you menus. Take a moment to browse your imaginary menu. Then practice using our key expression. Say, "I think I'll go with the grilled chicken," or "I'll go with your recommendation for tonight." Try it a few different ways, emphasizing different words to hear how the meaning subtly changes. Here's where the exercise becomes really powerful. Start building a complete conversation. Practice asking questions like, "What comes with that?" or "How is the fish prepared?" Then respond to your imaginary server's answers with phrases like, "That sounds perfect," or "Actually, let me go with something else." The goal isn't perfection, it's fluency, comfort, and building the neural pathways that will make real conversations feel natural and automatic. Don't stop with ordering your main course. Practice the entire restaurant experience. Ask about appetizers. What would you recommend to start? Practice discussing beverages. "I'll go with the house red wine." Work on handling special requests. "Could I get that without onions, please?" Each of these interactions builds your confidence and expands your conversational toolkit. What I love about this exercise is that you can make it as simple or as complex as you want. Beginner learners might focus on basic ordering phrases, while more advanced students can practice describing dietary restrictions, asking about ingredients, or even engaging in small talk about the weather or local events. The key is to speak out loud, use natural intonation, and focus on communication rather than perfection. Try creating different scenarios to challenge yourself. Practice ordering for a group. We'll go with 2 appetizers to share. Imagine handling a problem. "Excuse me, I think there's been a mistake with our order. Role play paying the bill. Could we get the check, please?" Each scenario builds different aspects of your restaurant English while reinforcing the core patterns and expressions. Here's a secret that many English teachers don't tell their students. The physical act of speaking, moving your mouth, engaging your vocal cords, hearing your own voice, is incredibly important for language learning. When you practice speaking out loud, even to yourself, you're training your brain to access English quickly and naturally. This physical practice makes the difference between knowing what to say and being able to say it smoothly in real situations. But let's take this practice one step further. I want you to think about the emotional aspect of restaurant conversations. Food is deeply connected to culture, memory, and emotion in every society. When you talk about food in English, you're not just exchanging information, you're sharing experiences, expressing preferences, and connecting with others on a fundamental human level. This emotional connection is what transforms mechanical language practice into meaningful communication. Instead of just saying, "I'll go with the pasta," try adding personal context. "I'll go with the pasta. It reminds me of my grandmother's cooking." Instead of simply asking, "What's good here?" try, "What's your personal favorite on the menu?" These small additions create genuine conversation and help you connect with people in meaningful ways. The beauty of restaurant English is that it creates natural opportunities for storytelling and cultural exchange. When someone asks if you've tried a particular dish before, you might share a memory from your home country. When a server recommends their favorite appetizer, you're invited into a moment of personal connection that goes beyond mere transaction. This is why I encourage my students to approach restaurant conversations with curiosity rather than anxiety. Every interaction is a chance to learn something new about the food, about local customs, about the person serving you, and about yourself as an English speaker. When you shift your mindset from, "I hope I don't make mistakes," to, "I wonder what interesting conversation will happen today," restaurant visits become adventures rather than challenges. Consider also how restaurant English connects to broader life skills in English. The polite expressions you use when ordering food are the same ones you'll use in countless other situations. The confidence you develop in expressing preferences about menu items translates to expressing opinions in meetings, choosing options when shopping, or making decisions in social situations. Restaurant conversations are practice for life in English. As we move toward wrapping up our exploration of restaurant English, I want you to remember that every expert was once a beginner. Every native speaker you admire once struggled with pronunciation, vocabulary, and cultural nuances. The difference between those who become confident speakers and those who remain hesitant isn't talent or natural ability. It's consistent practice, patience with themselves, and willingness to embrace the learning process. Restaurant conversations offer one of the best opportunities for this kind of practice because they're structured yet flexible, common yet varied, practical yet enjoyable. Every time you eat out, you have a chance to apply what you've learned, try new expressions, and build your conversational confidence in a supportive environment. Think about your next restaurant visit as a language learning opportunity. Arrive a few minutes early and spend time reading the menu carefully, looking up any unfamiliar words. Practice your order in your head before the server arrives. Ask questions about dishes that interest you. Use "I'll go with" naturally in your conversation. Thank your server genuinely and engage in appropriate small talk if the opportunity arises. Remember that servers are accustomed to working with people from many different backgrounds and language levels. They're trained to be helpful and patient. Most importantly, they want you to have a positive experience, which means they're naturally inclined to support your communication efforts rather than judge your language skills. The journey of mastering restaurant English is really a journey of becoming comfortable with English in social situations. Each successful interaction builds your confidence for the next one. Each new expression you learn and use naturally becomes part of your permanent vocabulary. Each moment of connection you create with another person through English reinforces your identity as a confident English speaker. As we conclude our exploration today, I want to leave you with this thought. Language learning is not about achieving perfection. It's about developing the ability to communicate effectively, connect genuinely with others, and express yourself authentically in any situation. Restaurant conversations provide the perfect practice ground for all of these skills because they combine practical necessity with social pleasure. Your homework, if you choose to accept it, is simple but powerful. Before your next restaurant visit, spend 5 minutes practicing with the Menu Imagination Challenge we discussed today. Use "I'll go with" in your practice session. Focus on speaking with confidence and natural rhythm. Then, during your actual restaurant experience, consciously apply what you've practiced while staying present and enjoying the moment. Remember that every conversation is an opportunity to grow. Every please and thank you speak with genuine warmth builds bridges of understanding. Every time you successfully communicate your preferences, ask a question, or engage in friendly conversation, you're not just ordering food, you're participating in the beautiful, complex, endlessly fascinating world of human communication in English. Your English journey is unique, valuable, and worthy of celebration. Every step forward, no matter how small, deserves recognition. Every mistake is a learning opportunity. Every successful interaction is proof of your growing competence and confidence as an English speaker. Keep practicing, keep listening, and most importantly, keep believing in your ability to master this beautiful language. The world is full of restaurants waiting to welcome you, conversations waiting to happen, and connections waiting to be made. Your English-speaking future is as bright and promising as your favorite meal, and just as satisfying to savor. I hope this lesson has inspired you to approach restaurant English with confidence and excitement. I'm curious, from which country are you watching this video? Please share in the comments below, as I love learning about our global community of English learners. If this lesson helped you feel more confident about restaurant conversations, please give it a like and consider subscribing to our channel for more practical English lessons that will help you communicate naturally and confidently in any situation. Until next time, keep practicing and keep growing.